If you do not win the primaries, you cannot go to the elections. And the elections and the primaries became a very important gatekeeper process that kept a lot of the women out. Three days to the primaries itself, it looked like I was really having the upper hand. I was struck when I was told that there was a petition against me. I was not an indigene of the Calabar municipality. And I wanted to go with the legal argument, but I was reminded that this was a party affair. I now went to the local government with all my papers from my traditional ruler, family head and everything. It was a miracle how I managed to get that certificate 24 hours before the primaries and still contested the primaries. By the time the actual primary started at about 8:30, it was night, poorly secured environment with only one light bulb and a small generator powering it. So in the end, we had a primaries where we had more votes cast than the number of delegates to that primaries. I wrote a letter to the party chairman. I wrote a letter to the president complaining about the experiences of women in politics. I said, Chairperson, President, it is impossible for Nigerian women to win elections. And it was on account of that complaint that I made. I got a call later on in 2007 asking me to join the presidential campaign. Then, of course, I also knew if governance was in crisis, if governance had challenges, then there was only so much you could get done as an activist for women and for gender rights. The agendas of political parties are not entirely not gendered. There are policy positions to support a more gender-based approach, but entrenched interests is oftentimes a very big barrier. I think different people have different interpretations of what feminism is, and for me, as an African woman, I think it's important to think more about the role of matriarchs in our context and how these matriarchs have shaped society and the leaderships they have brought into society, because young people and generations still have much regards for age and for seniority, and therefore the wisdom of that senior citizen who is a matriarch of the community also represents an important entry point. In African communities and society, women who lead did not sit down to say, I'm a feminist or I'm not a feminist, but these are the values that I bring. Value of care, value of conservation, value of prudence, in the things that they do. An African matriarch is much more than a mother. In our own understanding, it's also a community leader. Civil society oftentimes talk about support, but when it gets to the field, it's a very different game. You don't see any civil society in the political space giving you the kind of necessary support as a candidate. And if women could organize to provide that support, that would be crucial, very crucial. So that when the system is being undermined, they're like watchdogs that shout, why haven't they done this? Why is this being done? No, we won't accept this. This is not acceptable. The need for a small committee. May I suggest an agenda to the small committee? The small committee needs to look at the priorities of government as well. The government is speaking about a transformative agenda. Up till now, we are yet to have the details of that transformative agenda. I think what I have learned is that negotiation. You need to learn how to negotiate even more. So I have not only been able to use the years as a civil society activist to define what I want, I've also learned the art of talking to other people in order to get what I want. Very quickly, sir, to thank the leadership again for taking the issue of gender very seriously. It is now obvious to the whole country that gender is no longer one of those things for women, but it's for the whole leadership of Nigeria. So thank you so much. We now in Nigeria have almost all the institutions we need, but the quality and content are the questions. So we need to move from building the big roads alone and saying we have built the roads and celebrating the big roads to making the small things count so that it touches every life. So for me as a woman, and this is where I tell you that I'm actively involved with matriarchy and what values drive matriarchy, is that you need to be telling that small count. The values of our society count.